9 MacBook Pro. That's almost $4,000. Yeah. Oh yeah, the new iMacs, the actual like desktop computers, they're pretty cool too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Ski Mask got pretty much the same computer. He got more storage. The only thing about more storage hard drive. So yeah, you want more storage on your hard drive because the more hard headroom you have on your hard drive, it just helps with performance, and you can obviously store more shit on your computer. But one thing you have to be aware of when it's internal storage like that is that if it does crash, you're at risk of losing that. Whereas you can have external storage, it's a little bit safer. So, yeah, yeah, um, yeah, yeah. Prof, get everybody a discount. In fact, give me a rebate. Yeah. Oh, you got an 8 terabyte backup. I don't know. I Ski Mask. He might want like probably like at least 8 more. But what I was looking at Macs, the Mac Pro, which is like the high, like ultra high performance version that you can spec out to be literally 60 grand. It was like I can't even fucking remember. It was like oh, with the RAM, you could have like 6 terabytes of RAM, not storage, but RAM, which is ridiculous. Um, uh, Deal, prof. Yeah, just give me like a $20 rebate. Done. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so enough about computers. That was a lovely beat, Ski Mask. Wonderful. Send that to Drake right now. All right, so appreciate that. And now we've got Arity Money. Arity Money. Where are you? There we are. All right, so here is Arity Money with the skip ahead, and then we got Initech and Prof. So here we go. Sorry, that beat made it so hot in here. I had to open the fucking window. I got to How do I turn this fan on? There we go. Yeah, that was again, that was Arity Money, who always brings the nostalgic feels. Very, very, very cool. And Conclave, I appreciate the bits. Thank you, sir. Thank you, and I appreciate the skip too. Thank you. I got you written down, so you will not be lost in the fray. I promise. Yeah, so very, very, very cool. Um, yeah. Oh, you want my setup? I appreciate that. Yeah, I've got to finish it up. It's not totally done, but I like where it's going though. Appreciate that. So again, Air Money, very cool, nostalgic feels. Um, very good feel, good rhythm. The sound selection very much puts you in an era. Very, very cool. Like, and then yeah, just great little rhythm there. I like that a lot. Ti type beat. Yeah. Somebody else said, what you know about that? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that beats were fun back then. They really were. The kick was a little bit boomy though. So I would take some of the low end out of the kick and the 808 there. It just needed a little bit of tightening up on the low end, but again, like, and for the era too, you nailed like the feel of the mix too. Yeah, because like there's a certain sound of that time. It's not just the sound selection, but like the actual mix and where things were placed and stuff like that. And you nailed it. So, very, very, very cool. Let me listen to this next one from Arity Money. Let's see. This is track 13. Here we go. Hey, this one's cool too. Cool sound selection. I like that lead a lot, and I like those little like pager sounds coming through. Those little pager sounds definitely put it in an era as well. If you don't know what a pager is, then you are very young. Yeah, very cool feel on that one. Like the snare sounded great. The drum bounce was very, very cool. Um, Sound selection again, very, very, very cool. It was pretty overclipped, so it was getting a lot of distortion when the low end hit really hard. Yeah, you miss your two-way page. I'm actually too young to have had a pager, but I remember them. I know what they were. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My mom had a pager for work. Did she? Somebody had a fucking page. I remember somebody I know having one. I was like, this is this little fucking random. They're like this big, and I think yeah. So basically, it would let you know if somebody was trying to get in contact with you, and then you would go call them back. It wasn't quite texting. It was like somehow like if somebody called your house, it would send a little notification to your pager to let you know that somebody was trying to call you. I think I don't even remember how they fucking worked, but you couldn't. It was just a little screen that would show you a number that was calling you, and then you'd go call them back. So it was like you wouldn't miss calls that way. So, oh yeah, 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 yeah. I like because like I remember a time before cell phones too. Like I didn't have a like shit. My mom got a cell phone when I was like shit. I wasn't even in Virginia yet. Um, when I was like 10 or 11, it was when my mom got the first cell phone. It was like one of those Nokia bricks. I mean, there were cell phones like the big gray ones that you flip up, but like not everybody had those. Um, so like we didn't have a cell phone until I mean shit like probably like until I didn't personally have a cell phone until like my junior year of high school, and I had like one of those little shitty flip phones. So yeah, Snake. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So until my junior year of high school, there was no like I didn't have a cell phone. Um, and I didn't even have an iPhone, like a smartphone, until I was like 20 something. Um, like up until probably like 26. So I've only had like a smartphone for like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. My two-way pager was advanced. It had the beam feature. You could point it at someone with the same one and press the button, and it would add the contact with. Oh, cool. Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember those, Chef Boy. Shit, I had like I remember like with the ones that you'd slide the screen and there was like the little keyboard on it. Those were like hot shit at one point. You know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nokia with the snake game. Yeah, I remember that. And then like I think like the Motorola or like razors and shit had like because razors were big too for a little bit. I actually found my old razor. Um, I had a razor for like a year after my shitty little Motorola flip phone, and then I got a razor, and then that broke, and then I got one of those little the ones with the keyboard on it when I was like 20 something, and I had that little like the little man. I was like, damn, yeah, like I had an iPod and a cell phone because you like I remember when iPhones came out. Damn it, I'm old as shit. Yeah, Blackberries. I remember Blackberries. Palm Pilots. Does anybody remember Palm Pilots? Yeah, yeah. Minute phone. Minute phone. Do I remember the minute phone? I remember like my friend's dad had a Palm Pilot, and I was like, "Damn, dude, you're rich." Yeah. I don't know what that is, Conclave. Shit. Yeah. Yeah. Man. And then I had yeah, so like when I was cuz like when I was managing a restaurant, like I was like 19, 20, managing a restaurant, and yeah, I had like a shitty little um no, like when I became a manager, I got like the fancy uh keyboard slide out one, and that was like hot shit. And then I didn't get an iPhone until uh yeah, I was like 25, 26. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Nokia 3310. Yeah. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the bag phone. Yeah, yeah. I remember I kind of remember those. I've never actually seen one, but you broke your house. Yeah. So like I grew up in rural Ohio until I was like 9. I lived there from like 4 to 9, so like 5 years. But the county I grew up in was like 10 to 20 years behind the times. So like all my everything was in black and white still. Um, didn't really have any cable. uh, uh, yeah, no cell phones. I remember getting internet. I remember getting internet for the first time in like 1996 or 97 or something like that. And just like, holy shit, you can like, and I remember too when I was like 9 when Google came out, it's like you can just ask this thing on the computer anything and it'll tell you. Or like even Ask Jeeves. Remember Ask Jeeves? That was a big one back then. Yeah. AOL. Yeah. Yeah, the trial discs in the mail. Yeah. Yeah. Shit like what, like dial up internet and shit, or like if you were on the computer and somebody was on the phone at the same time, you could hear the whole conversation coming through the speakers. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then like fucking like when I was in middle school and like early high school, like yeah, AOL and AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, if anybody doesn't know what that was like the hot shit back then. So, yeah. 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 Yeah, hang up the phone, I'm online. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, LimeWire shit. Yeah. And yeah, and MySpace, fuck. Man, I'm just realizing we gotta stop. I'm realizing how old I am. Yeah, I had a fucking MySpace. And then like when Facebook, I remember when Facebook came out and like no one really knew how to use it yet. Yeah. 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 We are dating ourselves. Yeah. Yeah, before like there was no games on your phone. You couldn't even take pictures on your phone. Like I actually like we had like a photo album on the coffee table, you know. Like I remember you like if we went on like a school trip, I'd go and get like a Kodak phone, and you'd actually have like. Does anybody actually remember getting photos developed at CVS? Yeah, sick toys at McDonald's. Yeah, exactly. Or yeah, what else? Like yeah, so getting photos developed and like you didn't know because that was the thing. Like you took a bunch of photos, you couldn't reference them. This is before digital. Yeah, fuck. I remember a time before even digital cameras. Everything was still film cameras. You couldn't. There was no such thing as a digital fucking camera. Um, so like you had your own camera and you'd have to go buy film for it, and you had no idea if the picture was even good or not until you got it developed, and it took like a couple days. So you take a bunch of pictures, and you had no idea if they were good pictures or not. Then you'd take them to CVS, get them developed, and then find out if they were good or not. Oh yeah, and Blockbuster in Hollywood, yeah. Um, but yeah, every computer had a virus, but you pushed through. Yeah, yeah. And then fuck. Or like even in school, like the carbon copy paper. Like I remember like all the schoolwork it was like on purple paper with blue ink. That was what like we did like it was like blue construction paper or purple construction paper with like blue ink on it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the original X yeah. And it was fun. Like it was an event to go to Blockbuster. Like you'd go there and like you'd have to get there early because like if a new movie came out, it would be out before you got there. You know? It's like fuck, I wanted to see the new Superman or whatever the fuck it was, and they'd have like a limited amount of copies, and you had to like get there early. And then and if you weren't there soon enough, you just didn't get it. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Shit, I remember like PlayStation, the original PlayStation, like getting one of those was like huge. I remember my friend had one. I was like, "Fuck, man, that is so cool!" Like you, because like, because we had like Sega Dreamcast. I didn't have them. My friend did, and then I had like this really really. It was like a second hand. No, it wasn't Nintendo. The fuck was it? I think it was just a regular Sega, where you had to put the cartridges in on top. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Invisible Moon, how you doing? Yeah, yeah. I wanted a Nintendo 64 really bad. Yeah. Oh yeah, Banjo or Crash Bandicoot. And what's that game? Jak and Daxter. That game was fun. And then I remember my grandparents got me a PS2 when I was like in middle school, and that was like the coolest shit ever. It was like Tony Hawk, Need for Speed. Fuck. Yeah. Game. Oh yeah, GameCube. I forgot about GameCube. Yeah. Yeah. You still got an original Xbox? Yeah. 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 I had Tony Hawk, and then I had like some like it was weird because like a lot back then like games weren't necessarily like the hot new game that everyone was playing because you couldn't play together, so it was kind of just like whatever you liked personally. So I had like a lot of weird games too. Like I had like a snowmobile racing game, which is really fucking weird, and had like a Rob Zombie song on it. Halo, yeah, yeah, they did think it was realistic. Yeah, yeah. Napster, yeah. StarTAC. That is an yeah, yeah. StarTAC. I think that vaguely rings a bell. Yeah, Def Jam Fight Night. I remember that. Um, yeah, Halo. Yeah, I kind of yeah. Oh yeah, Coaster Tycoon. I played that on computer, and then Zoo Tycoon or some shit like that. And then like The Sims was really big back then. Yeah, Quantized is when women's booties was real. All right, okay, so yeah, I need to get back to. We're going down memory lane way too far. We're all gonna feel really really depressed after we realize how old we are. So let me get back to the music. We can forget all of our troubles. Okay, so Initech, you are up next, and then we got Prof, and then we got Conclave, and then Irk. So here we go. So well, it's Arity Money's fault. Arity Money had those pager sounds in there, and it took us all back. That's your power that you have, Arity Money, is the nostalgia is strong with this one. So it's your fault. I'm blaming you. Um, you love getting old. Yeah, it's fun in a lot of ways. I mean, like I still feel young. I actually have more energy. I think it's a lot of my diet, but uh, yeah, I feel like I'm 20 still, so that's good. um, so let me find Initech. 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 Oh, there you are. Here we go.
Ain't no tech. Why you flex like that?
So this one has a lot of good stuff going on in Attack. A lot of cool little textures. They come through very, very nicely. Those are tastefully leveled and placed throughout the mix. The stereo on this is really, really good. The melody has got enough change. It's not like super, super changed up, but it's got enough to keep it going and keep the feel like moving forward and progressing. And it like kept my interest the whole time, but it wasn't over the top. Definitely had, like you said in the chat, it's got a lot of room for an artist on it. It had a really cool feel. The melody sounded really just interesting and full. And it had a good stereo on that. But the one thing about the way that it was placed in the stereo field, I liked where it was placed, but it made it come through a little bit strong. So the melody was the ambient, like the whole feel of the melody was a little bit forward. So I'd bring it back in the mix a little bit, because when you put stuff to the side, it's not fighting as much, so it's going to be a lot more present all of a sudden. But so you could stand to bring the main melody down a little bit, not much, just a little bit. The low end did seem a little bit boxy too, like some of it, like the bottom of it, the boominess of it was rolled off too much maybe. So I feel like the low end just, yeah, it sounded a little bit boxy, like that low mid forward section, or that section was a little bit low mid forward, and I would tame that area and then bring back some of the lows, like the bass, to really fill out the bottom of it. So but that was it overall it had a really, really cool feel. Great stereo. The low end is a little bit boxy, and I'd bring the ambient or the main elements down a little bit because of where they were placed in the mix. But the textures are really cool. Had a lot of room for the artist, kept it interesting, good dynamics. I liked it. This is a very solid beat, but I would address the low end a little bit. So, but very, very, very cool indeed in Attack. Yeah, very, very nice. Oh, people are still talking about yeah, placement, right? Like, yeah, it's got the room and the feel for a placement. It just needs a little bit of tweaking, you know. Yeah. Somebody looks like a shirt. Still have a Walkman. Yeah. Yeah, I had to get one with a record button on it. You like conversations like this, Aaron? Yeah, I do too. I do too. What's another thing before we dive into the next one? What's another little artifact from the early 2000s? Skate shoes. Skate shoes. You guys remember those big ass fucking blocky shoes that everybody wore? Like the Elements and the Osiris's and Etnies and what other fucking shoes were there? Like the big ass fucking blocky puffy shoes. Skate shoes. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Heelys. Oh yeah. I remember Heelys. Yeah. 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 Oh, Pink Hair. I got your skip ahead, by the way. Don't think I forgot. Yeah. Lugs. I don't remember lugs. Razor scooters. Oh shit. Yeah, I remember wanting a Razor scooter so fucking bad, and like the one with like had like the little wheelie bar or something on the back. So what the fuck was that? Because there was like the brake on the back wheel. But I wanted a Razor scooter so fucking bad. And then my grandparents got me one. It was like the knockoff one. I felt like such a piece of shit. So, Q. No, I didn't see it. My bad. Let me just make sure I got you in the right order. Let me go back and I can check the log, because if I want to make sure that you're in the right spot. Okay, so you're actually, yeah, I got you. So you're actually before, you're actually after Prof, before Conclave. Okay, so Q, I got you. Thanks for reminding me. I did miss that one, so I got you where you need to be though. Yeah. That I have seen that. I remember somebody selling a jar of so people were selling celebrity farts on eBay in mason jars. And I remember like in 2000, like when eBay first came out, it like there was a big like it wasn't quite viral because things didn't really go viral back then. But somebody went up to Britney Spears and just got a jar of air that was near her and sold it for like 10 grand on eBay. Yeah. 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 Why would you initially Google that? Very good question. Yeah. Man, the early 2000s was a wild time. Everybody was like, there was new technology no one knew what to do with yet. So, yeah. Today they have NFTs. Exactly. Yeah. What the hell is an NFT? It's a non fungible token or some shit. Somebody explain what an NFT is. Yeah. Okay, so let me dive into this next one real quick. Who do I got? Who do I got? Prof. I have Prof next. Let's listen to Profs. Where is Prof? Oh, by the way, I am going to cut off submissions in the next couple minutes. So if anybody hasn't submitted yet and they still want to get reviewed this evening, be sure to put it in the review submissions tab in Discord, and then I'm going to cut off submissions here shortly. So, um, yeah, here we go. Here is Profs. That was cool. I really liked the tone on those little mallet sounds. The bass sounded really, really good. Very full. It wasn't overpowering though. Like it felt wide and spacious. There was good depth to the whole mix, good width. Yeah, and the bass didn't overpower anything, but it was still very, very present, and it provided like a very good foundation for the whole stereo field. Um, Very good sound selection. I liked the feel of the whole thing. That synth bass sounded really good though, and the tone of those little mallets sounded really good too. Like I could hear a good amount of detail in them. Nice, just warmth to it. I think you're finding that good balance of warmth and separation and clarity still, or not still. I think you're getting close to it. Um, the one thing I'd say is like the strings patty thing that was in the background. The top end of that was a little bit bright, and a little digitally sounding. So I would maybe tone that down, or maybe swap out another sound to kind of fill that spot. It sounded really. I liked what it was doing, and it was providing a nice context. But the top end of it did sound a little bit digital, whereas everything else sounded nice. Um, so that one was from Prof. Yeah, very good separation, great stereo, great depth, good sound selection, nice tone on those little mallets and the bass, and very well controlled bass as well. It was nice and tight and full without being overpowering. So, yeah, very nicely done on that one, Prof. Um, let's see. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I like that one a lot. Here we go. Here is Prof's next one. And Brainstorm, I have not played yours yet. That is correct. this one has a really fucking cool feel too. Yeah, that was really nice, prop. There's a few little nitpicky things, but on the whole, that was a very, very, very cool feel. I liked all of the sound selection. Every single sound sounded nice. A couple of them needed a little bit of tightening up, but the sound selection, the musicality, the rhythm of this, the space, the feel was all there. The few nitpicky things, when that synth, like that Italo bass came in at first, then you had like doo 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 doo. I liked the rhythm a lot. I really did. But initially, so here's what I would suggest, and it's kind of a roundabout way, and it's purely strategic, because I liked the rhythm that you had of the bass 100%. I would not change it. But when somebody's listening to it for the first time and they're hearing everything together, that double bass in the beginning, it was kind of a bit to take in at first upon hearing it for the first time. So when you're I kind of stage my preview of my melodies with, like, because you structure your melodies for send out the same way I do. But when I do my preview, sometimes to keep that in mind, I might cut a couple notes out just for the preview, just for like keeping in mind the first impression. You know what I mean? So I try to maximize that first listening experience. Like, oh shit. So sometimes so on the first one, if you still got the MIDI, when you've got that preview going, hey, it's Taz, how you doing? I appreciate you being in here. So on that first preview, in the preview of the melody, I would simplify the beginning of that bass line, maybe just one note. It's like boom, 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 instead of doo 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 doo, because if you know what I mean, it's just a little bit of a bit much to take in at upon hearing it in the first few seconds for the first time. And then when it loops back through, you can have that rhythm how it's supposed to be. And then when you do your individual sections, keep it exactly like it is. And then the end user can chop it up however they want. But I do keep that in mind when I'm doing my little previews. I try to make those as easy to understand as possible in the arrangement of it. So sometimes, yeah, I'll like do like little lead-ins, or like I'll like cut a couple notes off in the beginning just to make it a little bit simpler. And then like on the second time it plays through, I'll have the full thing. It's just by that point they're used to how the feeling is working and how the melody goes in its entirety, if that makes sense. So that's really like the main thing I had with this. And it's not really anything that you did wrong, because everything sounded great. It's just a little strategic thing I would say. So there's two things. There's like a whistly thing that came in early on, and then a fluty thing. And the fluty thing sounded a little bit harsh on the top end, and the whistly thing sounded a little bit resonant. So I would tame the fundamental of that sound, like the whistly part. And you kind of had stuff coming in and out, so I'm probably not describing them totally. Do I like the mix on the bass? I did, actually. For an Italo bass, I did like what it was doing. Maybe you could have a little bit more low end to it, but for that type of bass, you don't necessarily need that full power low end. It's more of like an accent bass anyways, but I did like it. But if you wanted to, you could add some more low end, but it's not necessary in my opinion. It's optional. Oh, and then the vocal chops that you had, they worked really, really well. But I would say they're a little tiny bit forward in the mix. Just like a dB, nothing too bad. But I would bring them back in the mix a tiny bit. But that's it. I would tame the flutiness, the high end of the fluty sound. There was like a whistly sound in the beginning, or close to the beginning, that had some resonance. And then, yeah. And then just that strategic little arrangement tip in the beginning. So, yeah. Yeah, well, I think the pianos would be in a good spot when the vocals came down a little bit. Because sometimes it's not necessarily bringing something up as it is bringing something else down. You know what I mean? Hey, and Jed Music, I appreciate the follow. I didn't see that word ban either. I apologize, Eric Merton. I probably fucked that up a lot. I'm rusty, okay? I haven't been doing this for 2 weeks. So, but yeah, so those were from Prof. Very, very nicely done. So how do you guys feel about doing our second giveaway for the evening? Does that sound something like you guys would want to do? Does that sound good to you? So I'll be giving $20 away to one random Ski Mask has already started. We're gonna do a different number this time, Ski Mask. So how this is going to work is I'm going to give you guys a number here in a second, and then everybody's going to type that number in and enter it in the chat, just one at a time. So don't put like 20 of the number at once. You can put it in the chat multiple times, but only one at a time, if that makes sense. Just going nuts. Well, okay. How about we do a different one? I'm gonna think of a word or a number between 1 and 100, and then the first person who guesses this number is the winner. Okay, so I'm gonna write it down. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna circle it so everybody knows. Okay, so go. Hey, I already saw it. So Ethan K beats. It was Ethan K. And the number, hold on, pause the chat. There we go. Let me just make sure it was Ethan, the first one. Yep, somebody else got it right after him, but Ethan did indeed get it first. It was 33. There we go. So Ethan, let me write you down so you're the second person to win. Ethan K beats. I will PayPal you, sir. So, yeah. Yeah. Somebody got, he read my arm movements. Yeah. So, very, very nicely done. You worked very, very hard for that, Ethan. I'm proud of you. Congratulations. I will PayPal you. So I'm going to reach out to, I think I may have Patty's PayPal info, but just DM me your PayPal info, Ethan, and I will get that to you. You're trying to guess my age? Oh, I'll just tell you. I am 29. Actually, Jed Music, I apologize. I did cut off submissions not that long ago, but I do have to stick to my guns on that. I apologize. I have cut off submissions for the evening. But speaking of submissions, I'm going to get back to reviewing right now. So Q, where is your submission, sir? Let's hear something from Q on the beat. He got to skip ahead. Here we are, Q. All right, here we go. That was really, really nice, Q. That was super nice. The thing that got me right away was the way that where the vocals were sitting in the mix was perfect. And like you had some stuff that was like their stereo placement front to back was great. Like I could hear the lead kind of like right here, like this is so front to front and then to back. So just for reference, this is front, that's back for me. So the lead was kind of like right here, and then the vocals kind of felt behind it, and then you had your pianos like right here, and the bass was very, very present but not overpowering. But like the layers of in the depth of it were very, very nice. So the what I really liked were those little background vocals sat, and it was kind of like mid to low mid heavy on a lot of this, like in terms of what the frequency of the instrument, the sounds that you were using, but there was still good separation. Like you still handled it very well, and everything sounded separate still. And a lot of that was the stereo imaging of it. And so very, very nicely done on that. The sound selection was really, really good too. I really liked that lead. I really liked the bass. I liked what the vocals were doing. Very, very, very nice. Yeah, the musicality of it was very, very nice. I liked the chords when they came. So the piano, I mean, the piano sounded good. Maybe a little, because like everything else was a little bit low passed, you know, kind of had that Drakey feel to it. And then the pianos kind of there because they were a little bit brighter. They kind of stuck out a lot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I wasn't quite expecting it either. You know what I mean? I liked it. Maybe the brightness just kind of felt a little bit out of place, because like you had a good like frequency representation across the frequency spectrum. So I'm not saying that everything sounded dull, because it didn't, but like this kind of feel, everything is a little bit more muted. The melodic elements at least are a little bit more muted usually, and that piano is a little bit bright. So maybe I don't like. I liked it, but maybe like a more of like an E piano or like a Rhodes kind of sound may fit in the feel a little bit more. Or yeah, just filtering it a little bit maybe. It's not necessarily like it was too bright, but it kind of stuck out of it. It was like a little bit out of feeling. You know what I mean? So yeah, up to you. It's just a minor observation on the brightness of the piano. Again, not too bright, just a little bit sticking out. So yeah, maybe filtering it like you suggested, or swapping it with a different sound. But very, very nicely done still. Yeah. I mean, we can just rest assured that anything Q makes is going to be of a certain caliber. So very nicely done, Q. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I do need to hydrate. So I am going to. How do I play MP3s on this motherfucker? I am going to. I gotta go to the restroom, and then I'm gonna. No, that's not what I want. And then I'm gonna fill up my water bottle. I haven't really drank much water today, which is not good. Everybody try to drink a lot of water, okay? It's good for you. Here, we're gonna play this beat real quick. And I'm going to go to the restroom. All right. That was one that we did for that Beyonce pack. Not quite disco, but we did a lot of disco, and then that one, and sent that along for Beyonce. Hey, how are you looking on the skips, you ask? So you're actually up next, Conclave. So from your perspective, the skips are looking very good. So yes, you're up next, Conclave. So yeah, that was one of the ones we did for Beyonce, and then a bunch of disco as well. Yeah. How's the stream looking, everybody? Have I dropped any frames? Is it glitchy or anything like that? It seems like it's doing pretty well. This new computer is impressive. So, who's after Conclave? Irk, and then some dude named Pink Hair, whoever that is. All right, so it's looking good. Cool. Yeah, because my other computer, I feel like it didn't handle it as well. So, yeah. Naj, I'm still working through skip aheads. We got quite a few this evening. I think it was like 10 skips. So, yeah, weird name, and yeah, it'd be even weirder if he actually had pink hair. Like, is he really that dedicated to his producer name? We shall see. Let's see. Oh, Ethan, I got your whisper here too. Cool, awesome. Yeah, I've got it written down on my to-do list tomorrow. I got quite a few things to set up still, but I will be sending it out, and we're gonna do one more giveaway this evening. One more cash giveaway. Some random time, random viewer. We shall see who it is. So, without further ado, let us listen to Conclave. You're right there. Cool. All right. Quick track that he slapped together in what? So, I remember you saying that there was some sort of what was your inspiration again? I remember saying like some 70s inspiration. What was it again that you were inspired by on this stuff, on woodwork? I remember you saying something earlier, but I can't remember. John Carpenter. I saw John Carpenter, and then I thought The Carpenters, which is like 70s as fuck. I mean, John Carpenter, I guess, is still 70s, but totally different theme. So, yeah. Yeah. He did Halloween too, right? Yeah. 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 Cool. All right. So that is a cool thing to keep in mind. So here we go. This is Conclave. Big Year, good to hear. Oh, cool. We'll hear from you, Big Year. That's exciting. Here's some stuff from an up and coming producer, Carmelo Beats, and D Lethals again. And I think in a couple minutes I'm going to cut off submissions. So if you still want to, hey Ethan, you're continuing the gifted sub from Irk Merton. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Yeah. So if anybody hasn't submitted yet, and go for it. I'm going to cut off submissions here shortly. But we will run through these right now. So let me go up to the top. I have not heard from Monks or Joseda. So we're going to listen to Novera real quick. That had a really cool energy. But hey, medium rare bread. Damn, sir. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate you coming through the raid. I hope you had a really good stream, sir. I hope you've been doing well as a person and not just a streamer. Thank you, sir. I'm going to give you a shout out real quick. If you want some really, really in-depth reviews as well from another streamer, medium rare bread goes in a lot of depth and is very, very knowledgeable, talented, and insightful. So be sure to check out medium rare bread. I'm going to give you, let me finish this shout out real quick. Medium rare bread. And he's probably got the best streamer name in on Twitch or any other platform. Fuck it, I'll go there. Medium rare bread. There we go. There's his Twitch link right now. If you haven't followed him, be sure to follow him. Yeah, a very, very, very talented, insightful producer. So if you want to get your music reviewed by him, be sure to check it out. Yeah. Thank you for the raid, sir. I hope you had a very good stream. Yeah, I like these. Yeah, look at this. Nice. Yeah, very good emotes too. Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming through. I'm doing some reviews this evening as well. So if, I was just about to cut off submissions, but if anybody coming from Medium Rare Bread's stream, if you want to submit some stuff from review on this channel, be sure to join the Discord and then put it into the review submissions tab, if you feel so inclined. Also, if you want 20 free samples, just type in ! free samples, and hold on. I'm a slacker. I didn't change my link tree to. Oh, and now it's asking me to log in. You dick. Okay, it's not that bad. I gotta change this button to say free samples instead of Melody Battle. But you just click this button. I'm going to change now, and then you should be able to get 20 free samples automatically sent to you. Check your spam folder. It'll probably end up in your spam folder at first. And then we're going to get back into these reviews. So if anybody who is just coming through just now wants to submit something, I'm going to take a few more submissions. I was just about to cut it off for the evening, but since we got rated so generously, I'm open to some more submissions. So go for it. All right, yeah. So if you want those 20 free samples, just type in ! free samples and check that out. Okay. Yeah, so thank you again for the raid, sir. I am going to dive into some reviews. Yeah, and again, everybody go give Medium Rare Bread a follow if you want to get some very in-depth, very insightful reviews from him as well. So here we go. So this one, it had a great energy to it. I really liked the rhythm of it. I really liked the sound selection. I liked how open you left it, but it still had a great ride to it. Had a lot of energy, despite not like there were sections where there wasn't much going on, but it had a lot of character. It had a lot of energy, like I said. The one thing I'd say, it did sound pretty clipped when the kick hit, so it was distorting. But I don't know if that was intentional, because it did give it a certain amount of grit, which was kind of like it fit with the character of the beat. But I feel like it was overclipped in my opinion. But the energy was great, and those little vocal chops you had were perfectly placed in the back. Yeah. I feel like maybe some of the drums could be rebalanced a little bit. Like I wanted to hear them. Let me just hear the drums one more time. So here we go. Let me hear the drums one more time. No, the rhythm of the drum sounded great, and the drum selection I liked, but I feel like maybe the perks could be a little bit forward, like come out in the mix a little bit more. They seemed a little bit quiet, so I would bring the perks up a little bit. Hey, FaZe, how you doing? Appreciate you being in here. But that, yeah, exactly. The bounce was super cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, very very nicely done. I have not heard from Joseda yet, or Clink Tracks. I have not heard from Clink Tracks yet, or Monks, or Patty. So we're gonna go straight to Arity Money real quick. How you doing, Arity Money? Let's listen to Arity Money right now. And Arity Money is going to take us. I'm gonna call it now. Is going to take us down memory lane right now with some cool early trap stuff. Yeah, I appreciate that, Ethan. And I'm glad that you like these reviews. I try to go in as much depth as possible. Try to return the favor that was given to me. I've been given a quite an in-depth, hands-on amount of information. So I try to give back to people as much as I can. Um, I people have invested a lot of time into me being having as much knowledge as I do at this point. So I have to return the favor somehow. So I feel like helping people do this, like helping people with their music, is the best way to do that in mass, or one way to do it at least. Yeah. So Arity Money, very cool energy, very 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 nostalgic feel as we can expect from you. Very very good, like rhythm. I liked the rhythm a lot, and it did feel very very good. It felt nice listening to it. Like the sound selection really accentuated that feel that you're going for. But the horns were pretty bright. They're a little bit, they're harsh. They're a little bit. I would tame the harshness a little bit, or a good amount, just because they it was kind of grating after a while of listening to it. But I would keep, even though they are kind of synthetic-y sounding horns, that does make this feel, because of the early 2000s feel you're going for. I normally don't like those kind of horns, except for in this use. But you've probably heard me say that before. And then the low end, the 808 that you're using, it sounds like the 808 you use a lot, and there's a lot of like residual mud on that 808. There's kind of like a hum that's in that sample. So I would clean up that hum that you're using on that sample that you're using, and it did sound a little bit muddy in the low end. Um, that lead, that little sine lead that you had was very, very cool though. Very, that was the horns and the whole thing, every single element, the ride, the drums that you were doing, the little drum runs, like the little tom rolls that you were doing, everything sounded very nostalgic. But I would tame the horn harshness, and then clean up some of the mud on that 808, the low end, because it's like the 808 hits, but then there's like this residual hum after it, that's in that sample that you're using, I think. Hey Savant, you said your submission is not a complete track, but it is a solid vibe. I could really do with some inspiration to build the structure. And okay, cool. That's what I am here for. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that for. So yeah, very cool feel. Just a few things to tighten up a little bit. But let's hear another one from you. Arity Money. Damn it. That was another cool one. That had great dynamics, by the way. It definitely, like, you had, like, every single switch up felt really seamless, felt really, really natural, and it just flowed into the next part very, very nicely. And you were like a hype conductor. You knew you had a very good sense of when to bring it down and when to build it up, how quickly to build it up. Very, very good dynamics in that one. And yeah, I really enjoyed that one though. So the low end on this one, it was more problematic than the other one, but I feel like this had a more open mix. The horns felt nicer, they weren't as bright as the last one. I really like the horns on this one, like melodically and mix wise, and the placement of them, they were perfectly placed in the mix. I felt like they were in a really good spot. So really, really, really good feel on this one. Great nostalgic feel. But the low end, I feel like there was a lot of information below like 30 hertz that was just coming through very, very rumbly. Like it definitely, the low end felt really loose and open. So I would tighten up. I would roll off pretty much anything under 30 hertz, maybe even more. just because it was rumbling a lot. But the ride of this, the energy of it, the epic feel, the horn sounded pretty good in this one, mix wise, placement wise. The drum selection was very nostalgic. The ride was very nostalgic. The whole feel, very very epic, big feel. Yeah, I like this one a lot, but I would tame that low end because there was a lot of extra information coming through. Posture check. There we go. So I really did like that whole feel, but yeah, I would definitely go in and tighten up that low end because I don't know what system you're listening on, but if you're listening in a system that goes below 30 hertz, there's going to be a lot of rumble. But if you're on a system that doesn't go that low, when you're making stuff, you're not going to be able to hear that frequency range accurately, which means you won't be able to, you won't be able to make decisions, well-informed decisions when you're working down there. So that's what she said. Anyways, appreciate it, Arity Money. Very, very nicely done. We got a couple more from Novera, and then we got Medium. I should say I am going. Hey, appreciate everybody being in here. Teddy or Tedit, I appreciate the follow. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. Nobody loves you, Jesse. Please tell us a little bit about yourself as well. Appreciate the follows. I hope you guys are having fun in here. So I am gonna let's see, how many submissions do we have now? Because I do have to cut it off eventually. So where were we at? Savant, can you pick two submissions? I only max of two. So after Savant, here let me type in here. Submissions are closed. So after anything before this comment that I put in there, I will review this evening. But Savant, if you don't mind going through and picking two that you would prefer, because I only take two at a time, please. So yeah, sorry, Yo AC, I do get quite a few submissions. I usually cut off the submissions about 2 hours into the stream. I go live at 6 p.m. Eastern, and try to go on until about 10. Usually I go over because I get a lot of submissions, and then I end up just pontificating in between submissions about random shit, and then I end up going over every time. But I try to keep my streams to like 4 hours, but I can rarely do that. But in an effort to do that, I do cut off pontificating. I am, yeah. But I do try to cut off submissions about 2 hours in. And I've got quite a few to get through, which is great. I do appreciate everybody who has submitted. I have fun doing these. I love hearing everybody else's music. It gives me ideas for my work. Like I hear stuff, I'm like, shit, I should try something like that sometimes. Yeah. That's the no. That's the only big word I've got. That's the only one. So Novera, you are up next. I appreciate that RRV music. And then we've got Medium. And here we go. Um, I confused because the sounds like it stops there, but it's got like another minute or 2 minutes of the MP3. So Novera, there is a lot that I like about this. There is, yeah, the immediately. I don't know if you ever heard that Toto song Africa. It reminds me of that song a lot. The whole feel of it. Um, very very well developed, full body feel. Those chord stabs, the syncopation was really 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 nice in that section where it's like ding ding ding. That was pretty cool. Um, right off the bat, though, I will say this: it sounded overclipped again on the kick and 808. So when those were pushed into the clipper, everything got distorted a little bit. But yeah, yeah, but yeah, you see that feel, yeah. So this felt really 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 nice, and I liked all of the little flutters that you had. I liked the guitar. I liked the little fluty, like the pan flutes. I liked the vocals. I liked the syncopated rhythm section that came in. I liked the drum bounce a lot, and I liked that you had dynamics in it. But all of the things I liked about it also presented one issue that I want to talk about. And it's kind of like a strategic, well, not a strategic issue. It like you had dynamics, but it didn't feel very fluid. It didn't feel like it seamlessly moved from one section to another, which, you know, with dynamic shifts, you don't always have to have it seamless. Like you can have an abrupt shift for like stylistic preference. But for this, I feel like the cool shit was kind of front loaded, and I feel like to have more of a dynamic shift into it, because like when an artist is trying to get on this, for example, there is a lot to work around. So it did feel a little bit busy in those terms. Um, so posture check, appreciate that, Jay Slay. My back thanks you as well. So like I liked everything you were doing, but I feel like if you were to build into the thickest part instead of presenting it all at once, you because like you can get away with a little bit of busyness on a beat if you're familiar with the feel of it. Like so if you like in a beat, like if you drop into the hook and there's just like a bunch of shit going on and it's like a couple different complex rhythms going on at the same time, the listener kind of gets, your average listener, and again you have to appeal to the average listener. You have to like you're going to overwhelm the average listener. They're not going to understand how to listen to it. But you could like if you present one rhythm at a time, and then you add another layer, and then you add another layer, you can get to that really cool buildup that you had, and it will be much more gratifying for the listener once it finally builds up to that point, and they'll be able to understand it. Instead of front loading the complexity, you kind of build up to the complexity. So I feel like you could have everything that you had in this, but I would slow walk the listener into the complex part, because it was really nice. It was like that big syncopated section with like the flutes and the guitars and the vocals sounded really 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 nice. But like I understood what you were doing, but I also make music and listen to music every day, and I can understand it. But like your average person is going to be like, how do I listen to this? You know, yes, exactly. Let them build into it. So yeah, plugin that you've got. Yeah, because it was a little bit of a like yeah, because like when you got a waveform and then you cut off. Sometimes when you cut off a waveform, it'll cause a little click. But when you start another waveform anywhere, but when it crosses through that 0 point, if that audio clip starts anywhere but that zero crossing, you know, like the wave goes through when there's that line in the center. If it starts like halfway in a peak or a valley, it'll have an audio click. So it's not just with audio samples though. Like any effects can do it too, especially like gates like that, because they are cutting the audio on and off. So if it cuts the audio on like on like in between, it can cause a click like that unless you smooth it out, like smooth the attack out. So I would go in and do that a little bit. Yeah, 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 yeah. Get some lava, or yeah, lava says industrykits.com. Well, so Olympic Gang, you're in what DAW were you in again? I think you were in GarageBand, right? Um, and did you ever upgrade to, or did you ever try out Logic and stuff? Um, yeah. Um, Soundstation. Okay, got you. Yeah, because I remember when you were like a few months ago before your knee stuff, you're looking into getting some plugins if I remember correctly. Like, but like being able to really fine tune stuff like that is key. Um, but yeah, so and then so later on in the track, it felt pretty cool. I liked the instrumentation a lot. I did feel like the drums may have kind of detracted. Like they felt like they had energy, and I liked a lot of the energy it was bringing. But at certain points, it felt like it was going a little bit too much and a little bit too busy, which I felt may have detracted from the feeling that you were going for, that you achieved with the orchestration of everything. Um, yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. 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 It's a fun, long, and arduous road, but in getting musical equipment and gear and software, it is fun. It is a fun collecting process, but yeah, yeah. So it does take a little bit of time to get everything you need, but yeah. So I would tone down some of the drums on this and kind of make the drums more of like an accent to the feeling you're going for, especially for this, for like, because you're, I don't know if you were playing, like, I don't know if you, in your, what you do, I don't imagine you would want an artist on this necessarily. So the drums don't necessarily need to be like the timekeeper for a vocalist, or like the main driver of a song. I think in your, what you're going for, I think it would be better if your drums were trying to accent the feeling you're going for instead of detracting from it. So I felt like some, when it got a little bit busy with the drums, I felt like, yeah, it was taking my attention away from the orchestration, which for what you do is like the main thing. Or I mean, unless I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, got you. But I mean, the musical side of this sounded really really good, and the drums did have good energy. Don't get me wrong, they had good energy. Just at a few points, it felt a little bit busy, and I did like the cool rhythm with the kick drums that you were doing later on in that section. That was cool. Um, like towards the end, you had, or like almost to the section before, it was the section before the end, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It had some like cool rhythmic kick drums. I liked those a lot. So, um, yeah, yeah, okay, got you. Yeah, yeah. All right, so I'm glad you're back. I'm glad your knee's doing a lot better. I'm glad you're done with school. I'm excited to hear the continuation of your musical journey, sir. And I want to hear more from, now that you have no excuse now, Olympic Gang. I better see your ass in here every time. I want to hear from you every time. um, yeah. Arity Money. Arity Money, are you still with us? And then we got AC, Big Year, Infectious Rhythm, and Pineapple Sandwiches, and then D's Keys. So here we go. Here's Arity Money. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. This is gonna be some nostalgic shit right here. This is gonna take us back. Man, I remember those key changes back in the day. Man, yeah, those were the shit back then. um, this had really good depth to it. I like it, I could hear pretty far back into the mix. So I like that. I like that depth. I like the orchestration of this. Like all the sounds sounded really good. Like those church bells sounded really, really good. Those weren't overdone. They weren't too in your face. I like that like creepy like what's that sound? Theremin kind of sound in the background, like that old school horror movie sound. I like the vocal, like the choir stabs; those were really nice. Yeah, I mean, I liked a lot of this, and the mix was actually like, yeah, it was wide and open and deep. Yeah. So the only thing I'd say is like I think it's that 808 sample that you use a lot. It's kind of got that like low rumble to it. Yeah, the it's kind of got like excess digital sound to it that I would cut out. But it's yeah, but it does help bring that whole old school feel out. Yeah. So yeah, very 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 nicely done. But I would address that 808 like that low end of the 808. It has like excess rumble to it. Miss Tina V, what is it that I can do for you? Just interrupting. I don't mind that at all. I appreciate you interrupting my chat. I hope those speakers are doing well for you still. Yeah. I hope they're treating you well. Hey, Too Sharp, 5 months. Shit. Damn. Appreciate that. Man, yeah, you've been here for a while. MDA, how you doing? Wait, this is you. Oh, look at that. You got your own emote. Holy shit. Is that one of O's? No, it's A7. Whose emote is that? Who made an emote for you? That was very generous of them. But I hope my old speakers are treating you well. Oh, cool. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. I see that Ski Mask got to you first. Unfortunately, he probably ruined your whole career by starting you out on Ableton. But that's all right. Welcome. Now that you're a producer as well, you have to participate in the DAW wars. Studio One would have been a better choice. Still, Studio One would have been a better choice. Just fucking with you, but I'm not really. It would have been a better choice. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Submit it to one of his review streams. I'm sure he'd love this. You're gonna try Studio One this week? Oh, does MedPack use Studio One? Well, okay. So I should ask because they're all of them have some benefits, some merits for various different things. What is it that you were what is it that you're going for? Like what kind of product, like are you an instrumentalist? Are you planning on singing, or what kind of music do you want to make? Because each DAW is kind of geared, like the people who made it for a target audience in the beginning, and they usually adapt towards a broader audience after that. Like FL was made with beat makers specifically in mind. FL or Ableton was made with DJs in mind, and Studio One was made with musicians and singers in mind. So, yeah. I did not hear that. Yeah. Singing and beats. Okay. So singing, recording into Ableton, I can't totally attest to. Hey, just gifted a sub to D's Keys. I appreciate that. Thank you. So singing, I cannot speak more highly of recording in Studio One. I don't quite know much about it in Ableton. I know guitar sounded decent. so I would imagine vocals would too. FL, it's definitely easiest for making just straight up beats. Um, it's the most, well, no, I wouldn't say that. For like drum patterns, it's the easiest for drum patterns and like throwing and bringing a sample in and adding drums to it. Like adding drums to a sample is very easy in Studio or in FL Studio. Um, FL Studio's playlist, like the overall view where you like do your arrangement, is horrible. Like the playlist in FL Studio sucks compared to Ableton and Studio One. Studio One, you can get a much cleaner mix in. FL Studio, there's a few benefits. Like you can get more. No, you can get more punch in Studio One, but it's like clinical punch. Whereas in FL Studio, the punch is like a little bit more oomphy. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. No one can touch the piano roll in FL. I'm gonna say it. Like that was my biggest drawback. Like going to Studio One, I'm not going back to FL, but FL's piano roll is kingly. The playlist sucks though. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, a step record. I've never even heard of that. Um, yeah. Scooby Doo. Yeah, I pretty much that's all I do for a living actually. Um, yeah. I've never used Reason actually. I've used Logic, I've used GarageBand, I've used FL Studio and Studio One and Ableton. I'm not proficient in Ableton. I feel a little bit more comfortable in Logic, but Studio One, I'm probably never gonna leave Studio One. Yeah, yeah. Playlist is awful and what? I've not tried Machine, no either. Not or Cakewalk or Reaper or yeah, I haven't tried any of those. Yeah, I have not tried Pro Tools either. I might though. Oh, is it? I mean, it have to beat Studio One for me though. I mean, um, like it takes me seconds to set up a track and record in Studio One, and then like I can get a really good recording pretty quick in Studio One. What would I say Logic is best for? They've got a lot of good sounds in Logic, like stock sounds. There's a lot of really good stock sounds in Logic. Um, I like the piano roll as well. It's pretty intuitive. I'm not as well versed as like I've tried it. I feel comfortable, but it's like I still prefer if I were to use a DAW, it would if I had to use FL or Logic, I would use FL. But I am more comfortable in FL. If I had to use any, I would still stay with Studio One. Um, Magic's Music Maker and Acid came out around the same time. Is there a correlation between what came after those two things? Um, you're stuck to FL for life. I mean, hey, it's got a lot of benefits to it. I feel like um, so one of the objective things that you can't argue with, like because it's fact, is that Studio One does handle CPU. Like I can literally have four times to maybe even five times as many plugins running in Studio One as I can in Ableton or in FL Studio. I tried maxing out Ableton. It's like I get maxed out much quicker. So Studio One is super efficient when it comes to plugins, and the timing in Studio One. Well, there is some plugin delay compensation issues with the timing in Studio One, but so FL's got its own separate plug-in delay compensation issues. But the clocking in Studio One is much faster than it is in FL Studio. So things happen quicker, like transient shapers happen quicker, gates happen quicker, compressors happen quicker. Anything that's time related is going to happen quicker in Studio One. So you can get a much more reactive. All your plugins are more reactive. So like dynamic EQ will be more reactive. All of that good stuff. Um, yeah, so you can't argue that Studio One is more. It's like better engineered in that way, like where the CPU usage is hyper efficient and it's quicker. Like it just it is. But if you care about that stuff, because you might not, because like it is quicker from brain to putting it into your computer on it for certain things in FL Studio, like laying out drums on the pattern block, way better than the pattern block that they tried to do in Studio One. Another thing that people have been asking for in Studio One since like 10 years before I even started producing is the dump score log function. They've been asking for that forever. Because like in FL Studio, like if you're dicking around in the piano or if you're like trying something like you're playing on your MIDI keyboard, you can literally go to a track and then go to the setting that says dump score log, and all of the MIDI you played for the last 5 minutes will be in your piano roll. And then you can like, so if you played something like, oh shit, that was really cool. What was that? You can just dump your score log. You can't do that in Studio One because Studio One, like they didn't originally put that in there because Studio One was geared towards guitarists, bassists, and vocalists and stuff like that. So MIDI really wasn't part of their consideration. They had MIDI, but it was like, who's really going to compose stuff in MIDI? Real composers do orchestras and live recordings and shit, but hopefully they'll listen after like 15 years of people being like, just fucking do this dump score log function. It's fucking a lifesaver. Why aren't you doing this? So, yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, um, yeah, it took me like three to 4 weeks to feel totally comfortable in Studio One. I'm like fluent now. Um, uh, I didn't have any CPU issues